My name is Erika Sheldon. I'm originally from Vermont. I'm now based in Western Massachusetts, and I'm an attorney. After finishing law school in Boston, I started working at Harvard University in their Office of Strategic Procurement. I worked there for 7 years. As of 3 years ago, I started working for a publicly traded health tech company, and I'm currently Assistant General Counsel of that company. I was searching for part-time AI work on LinkedIn, and I found a posting for micro1, and I applied because it was specifically related to commercial contracting. This was not my first time doing AI training. It was actually my third time. Micro1 just has the easiest platform and the most available help. You can talk live with an individual. You can reach out to them. They're available by phone, Slack, email. So it feels like a team that's working together instead of you being like a contributor or one of 10,000. Micro1 stands out from other AI platforms because it's clear, concise, and easy to use. Had a really great interface, and it was very clear what you needed to do, how to upload the documents that you redlined, how to create the rubrics, how to grade them, and you always had resources to help available on Slack. It felt like the team members from micro1 were online 24/7 somehow, so if you ever had a question, there was somebody there to answer it within a very short amount of time. Other AI platforms make you feel like you're sort of throwing things into a void. It's not clear what you're actually working on. It's not easily understood what the end result will be. So because micro1 is incredibly narrow in their project, but allows you the freedom to sort of do what you actually do in your real life job, the micro1 platform is really unique and different, and you feel like you're building something that's going to actually be utilized and useful to people in the future. The onboarding process was super easy. They provided really clear instructions, a quick onboarding training, and because of the expert pool that was selected, we were all sort of able to jump in, understanding our roles. Sometimes I get worried joining AI platforms that it's going to sort of be tens of thousands or, hundreds of people sort of going back and forth on Slack. This was really clear, clean, and direct, so it was easy to get the work done and get questions answered really quickly so we could all move forward with the project. I'm currently Assistant General Counsel for a health tech company. I've spent 10 years in commercial contracting, including at Harvard University. I currently work on project at micro1, redlining and negotiating commercial contracts. Yeah, the project is really focused around commercial contracting, so it's about trading red lines and doing negotiations with opposing counsel. I represented the seller company, so I was typically working off of the purchaser's standard form as they were a larger company. And so I would redline things that were important to my company, selling our HR AI tool to this larger company using their paper. So it was a lot of putting terms that were critical, but understanding the need to get the deal done as quickly as possible since this was a big opportunity for my selling company. And so that was primarily what I did. I would go through and redline their agreement and then create a rubric articulating the sort of commercial practicality, the likelihood that this would get a deal closed, and sort of contextualize my redlines and edits for opposing counsel. The project requires being able to redline, but also understand what might be missing in an agreement. So there may be a standard form that you're working against that doesn't contemplate what's important to your company. It only contemplates what's important to the company that created that form. So it's important to understand what's there, but also what's missing and how you can better protect your client and make sure that you're including all of the terms and conditions that are necessary to protect what's important to them. For my specific company, it was intellectual property and making sure that none of our algorithms or templates were going to be something that the party we were selling to could commercialize, negatively impact our intellectual property rights, as we were a young startup AI company looking to grow. I've been doing commercial contracting for 10 years, both on the purchasing side when I worked at Harvard University and now as a seller for a health tech company. So I think having that rounded out experience helped me, bring something unique to the project. I was able to understand the position of both parties and then try to use my negotiation skills to ensure that I was able to get the best possible deal for the party that I was representing at the time. Yeah, I am full-time at my current role. I also manage a team of 6, but because of the time differences, a lot of the other micro 1 experts were West Coast, I'm in the East Coast, and my current full-time role is actually in Mountain Time. So I always have unique times during the day where I can get the task done. You're able to sort of find pockets within your day to fit it in and do the work completely without taking a lot of time waiting for feedback from, a rubric editor or somebody from the micro 1 team. I think why I'm able to do it, even though like the time zone differences, it's because the project is so clear and it's concise. You're not making things up. You're working off of clear instructions with a clear template, and you're able to go in and complete the work and then submit it for review. And the feedback is really helpful that we receive from the micro 1 team. They're incredibly responsive, and the edits that they're looking for are clear and concise, so they're immediately actionable. So you're not waiting a long time for things to turn and go through different types of internal feedback. So you're able to carve out pockets of time, get the work done, receive the feedback, and then move forward with the project. The hardest part for me was following the templatized formula and how you're supposed to communicate in the rubric. Luckily, Charlie gave me some great guidance and guidelines and was really helpful, giving me examples as to sort of how you're supposed to articulate, in what order you're whether you're saying delete, strikes, inserts, accept. So creating the rubrics was a little difficult for me at first, but Charlie and Isabel really helped the project move forward and made it clear sort of what was necessary going forward for the agent to be able to learn. Charlie and Isabel were our points of contact, and they work for micro 1. Charlie is like a rubric expert, so he was able to help us, and Isabel oversaw the entire project, and I think a bunch of us were struggling with rubrics, so she brought Charlie in, and he was immediately impactful and helpful in helping us draft those. AI makes me both excited and nervous. I think that AI is great for the legal field. I think it will do a number of great things to help lawyers be better and more efficient at their job, which in turn creates better results for their clients, whether they're in-house or they have a private practice. I am concerned only with the amount that folks may rely on AI. It still does have a tendency to hallucinate or not understand the full picture. So I think that using AI as a tool is great, but over-reliance on AI might lead to results that are unintended. I see AI changing the legal industry and making it faster and more efficient and more accessible. So you may not necessarily have to go through a private counsel or a big law firm to get help with smaller things. It'll make the access to the legal field more for the general public, hopefully without the exorbitant costs that may be associated with that. I do not think that AI will ever fully replace lawyers. I do think that it'll be a tool that makes lawyers more efficient and practical, but I don't think it'll replace lawyers entirely. I think lawyers, especially in certain fields like commercial contracting, there's that level of trust that you place in the other party when you're negotiating, and it's nice to put a face and articulate back and forth and understand there's a human representing the company that you're negotiating against. It makes it tangible. It makes it feel like, you're working with someone toward a common goal. So I don't think AI will ever fully replace attorneys, but I hope that it makes them more efficient and practical with the information that they're providing. I think that junior attorneys might not be able to do the work that's being done with micro 1. I just feel like you need that time to understand both sides of a commercial transaction. I think that makes you a better attorney. It makes it, you can better anticipate the yeses and the nos and move the project forward quicker. I also think that junior attorneys might struggle with understanding the gaps that are there inherently when you're working off a standard form. It's easy to edit and negotiate what's in front of you, but it's hard to necessarily think outside the box and think what terms and conditions better protect the client that you're representing. So I think junior attorneys might struggle a little bit, and really senior attorneys are needed for this project. Something I wish AI would hurry up and do is stop making things up. I wish it would just say it doesn't know. It doesn't know, here are some points on the internet that might be able to help, as opposed to making up case law or references to codes that don't exist. I wish it would stop doing that and just provide access to resources where you could go and find the information instead of making things up. I think that lawyers that are resistant to bringing AI into their practice maybe have some misconceptions. I think AI is a tool that can be useful, it can be taught, and you can give it parameters and boundaries to help it better understand its use case for your specific, internal needs as a business. I do think that it requires human intervention. It should always be watched, but there's no need to fear AI necessarily. It's a tool that can help and aid you in your practice, whether it's finding a quick reference to a code that you can then go verify on Practical Law or LexisNexis. But I think it's a tool that helps cut down on time, but it shouldn't be relied upon completely. So as long as there are parameters around how you're using the AI in your job or in your industry, I think it can be incredibly useful and helpful. I would definitely refer micro1 to colleagues of mine. I think that as soon as you're onboarded, it's really clear what you're meant to be doing. It's work that's directly related to the type of work that my colleagues and myself do every day. Redlining and negotiating commercial contracts, whether that's via comments in the red line or, putting things back and forth in the rubric. So I would absolutely recommend it, and they could do it either as a full-time position or part-time like I do. But I think it's because of the accessibility of the platform and the micro1 team, it's definitely something that I would recommend to all my colleagues. The best part about training with micro1 is level of expertise and knowledge that the people that work at micro1 have. So if you have a question about the platform, there's somebody ready to answer that for you. If you're experiencing a bug or a hiccup, I had one small issue and then somebody got on Slack with me right away and helped me fix it. There's also a great knowledge of the legal field and how redlining and commercial contracting truly work. So you're working with people that aren't just tech-based, they also understand legal operations and how a redlining back and forth of the document would go in real life. So I think because they try to make it as real world as possible and they have deep expertise and knowledge in the legal field, it makes it a very unique opportunity to work for micro1. If you're a lawyer and you've never considered AI training, I would tell you to try working with micro1. They offer great support, a clear and practical use of your skills. You're able to do real-time negotiation. You're able to sort of have freedom in how you're negotiating. There are no parameters around how you're doing it. It's really what you know and what you bring to your job every day. So it's really a way for you to leverage your expertise in the commercial contracting field and apply those to unique scenarios that present different types of challenges depending on whether you're the buyer or the seller of a product.